Hey guys, welcome to CCM Connect. I'm Nellie, and tonight, since it's St. Patrick's Day, it's only fitting if we talk about St. Patrick. So I have Zach here with me, who has done a lot of research about St. Patrick. So, Zach, can you just start off by telling us who is St. Patrick?
St. Patrick is actually my patron, so I enjoy talking about him, and I actually really enjoyed researching more about him. And one thing I found out was that his name was not even Patrick. He was actually his name was actually Mywin Scott, and he was a Roman citizen living in England what's now known as England. So, and as a teenager, he was kidnapped by pirates and taken to Ireland to basically be an enslaved shepherd there for all of his teenage years. And yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about how he became a saint?
Yeah, so a lot of, like I said before, St. Patrick was imprisoned as a teenager, and so he spent a lot of time alone, either like in a cell or as a shepherd. And he spent a lot of that time praying, and that's actually why I decided to use him as my confirmation saint, because at the time I wanted to really improve my own prayer life, and I thought a saint that spent a lot of the time when he was my age praying would be good for that. And so during his prayer, towards the end of his time there, he had a vision from God saying he needed to run to the shore and there'd be a ship there. And he found the ship, and it took him back to England, and that's how he escaped. And once he got to England, he knew that he decided to become a priest. And once he became a priest, that's where that's actually where the name Patrick comes from, because the Latin for father is patricos. And so the theory is that he was known as Patricos Mywin Scott, which is how, and you know how we call deacon, or most pastors are called father. That's where we got it would be Patricos, and that's where we got Patrick. So that's why he's known as St. Patrick. But so after he became a priest, he knew he wanted to go back to Ireland to evangelize the country, to save the people there and bring Christianity there.
And why do we know him so well versus other saints from that place?
So St. Patrick specifically was really important because he was really basically the leader of the initial evangelization of Ireland. And Irish missionaries have actually had a major influence on the development of the Catholic Church throughout the world. Like, for instance, St. Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, but he's also the patron saint of one of the patrons of Nigeria, because Irish missionaries are responsible for a lot of the primary evangelization that happened there. And there's also some history with Irish missionaries in the church in America, specifically Florida, which is where you're from.
Yeah, that's really cool to know. He only evangelized this one place, but that ended up having a domino effect to Nigeria and even Florida, where I'm from. I've never heard that. That was really interesting.
Yeah, and there are actually some cool stories that I like to say about St. Patrick's evangelization specifically. Like, one that I really like is one day he showed up to a town to preach, and he left his shepherd's crook in the ground in the town, and by the time he was ready to leave, the crook had taken root and sort of became a tree. And a lot of these stories we don't really know how true they are, so there's not really a lot of specific evidence about them, but like, for instance, the most popular story about St. Patrick is that he chased the snakes out of Ireland. But a lot of people really believe that's a legend that describes how St. Patrick chased a lot of the pagan practices out of Ireland.
I want someone to chase snakes out of the U.S. Please.
In time. Another popular thing that's associated with St. Patrick is the three-leaf clover, and that's what he used often to describe how the Trinity worked, because a clover has 3 leaves, but it's still one plant, just like how the Holy Trinity is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but it's all one God.
Huh.
So yeah, that's St. Patrick.
So how did St. Patrick's Day begin? Like, where does this holiday like stem
Right.
from?
So St. Patrick, like I said, he lived around the year 400, and so we don't really know a lot about his day to day life, and he wasn't really a very popular saint in the entire church for like 1,000 years. So the first there was a priest or a cardinal from Ireland in the 1600s named Father Luke Wadding that he had a specific dedication to St. Patrick, and he was very active in voicing his opinions about how important St. Patrick was to the church, and a lot of people even called him the Irish Pope because of his influence he had among the cardinals. Father Luke Wadding is responsible for adding St. Patrick's Day to the church's universal calendar. So now it was recognized throughout the world rather than just people from Ireland knowing about him. So that's why he's popular now.
Do you like know like his feast days is like celebrate on his like death or like birthday or like just
Actually,
a
we
random day?
we um this now I'm remembering why I was thinking March 13th, because we know St. Patrick died, or believed to have died, March 13th of the year 460 AD. But we don't know when he was born. So that's what we know about his life and death. So no, St. Patrick's Day is not related to his birth or death. It's just, I guess, a day that was picked by the church.
And like you spoke about how they celebrate in England, or you spoke about how they celebrate in Ireland, and how it became nationally or not national, universally recognized in the church. Are there differences between like maybe back then, just Ireland, how they celebrated, or how we celebrate it now?
Actually, there are. So around the time that St. Patrick's Day was universally recognized, it was regarded more of like, it was very religious, specifically in Ireland. They treated it very conservatively, is the word, or it was like it wasn't celebrated the way we celebrate it today. So, in fact, until the year 1970, it was illegal to drink on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. So it was treated very differently today in the modern world, where it's very festive, and even outside of the church, it's treated as a holiday. But back then, it was more traditionally just a day of prayer, remembering St. Patrick and his life as an evangelizer. So, often associated with St. Patrick's Day in America is the dish corned beef and cabbage. I know that's what me and my family ate on St. Patrick's Day, but that's not even what they would have eaten in Ireland at the time of St. Patrick, or like even way after that. So, it would have probably been something like shepherd's pie. Uh, Corned beef is an American dish. It was actually invented in New York. But, anyways, I'm just talking about, it's been very modernized today, and that's not a bad thing. It's just very different in today's time than it was back then.
So what you're saying is St. Patrick's Day is not an excuse to go drinking.
No, it's not an excuse to go drinking, but you can still have fun and celebrate St. Patrick. Get your friend invite your friends to go and have a meal with you, and spend time together
Eating cabbage.
eating cabbage and corned beef. So yeah, don't just go out and drink and have fun. If you're Catholic, go to mass. Say a prayer to Saint Patrick. He actually has his own prayer called Saint Patrick's breastplate prayer, which we're gonna pray at the end of this video. Just try to keep in mind. Try to remember Saint Patrick's life, and use that to think of God.
You've told us a lot about St. Patrick and learned a lot about his life, how he's not really from Ireland, and that's right. That's not even his like actual name. But like, what are some other saints that that may be from Ireland that we should know about?
Yeah. So Saint Patrick was uh, responsible for a lot of the evangelization there. But after he was there were still other noteworthy Catholics that came from Ireland, and they're actually pretty cool. The ones that I've found. So first, there's Saint Bridget of Kildare. So Saint Bridget of Kildare. She's the patron saint of blacksmiths, mariners, and boatsmen. And what I loved about her is that there's a quote associated with her. It's a great quote. I believe it's great. She is famous for saying, "I want to spend my eternity watching the Holy Family drink a great lake of beer." So that's how you can remember Saint Bridget of Kildare. The next saint, Saint Columba, who's actually Deacon's patron, Deacon Matt, our very own, is the patron saint of poets and bookbinders. And there's legend saying that his preaching could be heard from miles around very clearly. So he would stand on mountains or hills, and people from everywhere could hear what he was saying, like they were right next to him.
He was either very loud or someone was very confused one day, like, what am I hearing? And just kind of stuck with it.
So, not to be confused with Saint Columba, we have Saint Columbanus, who was the patron saint of bikers or motorcycle riders. So, that's kind of cool to know that there's a patron saint for bike riders.
A cool guy.
Yeah. And another saint that I personally really like, and I know our very own Trey really likes, Saint Dymphna, who's the patron saint of those with mental illnesses. She's also from Ireland, which I didn't know, so I was very surprised to hear that. And our Saint Oliver Plunkett was a martyr who was the first Irish saint after a period of about 700 years, and he was beheaded for basically being Catholic after he was told not to be Catholic. And one person who he's not a saint yet, but he's in the process of being a saint of canonization, Matt Talbot. He is thought by some to be the founder of a program called Alcoholics Anonymous, which is very popular and obviously very good for a lot of people. So I thought that was cool to know as well. And so that's all the saints I found from Ireland.
Well, Zach, that was very informative, and it's kind of cool to hear about his story, how he was captured by pirates, and even after everything he went through, St. Patrick still went back to Ireland to preach and like evangelize. And it's interesting, like there's still like more saints out there that we should know about from Ireland, and we shouldn't just focus on St. Patrick. So to end this video, we are going to do St. Patrick's prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ when I lie down, Christ when I sit down, Christ when I arise, Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Happy St. Patrick's Day!